Cool stuff. So, this is a quick chat to discuss a little bit your experience with your master program. How has it been? Where were you before? And overall, anything you want to share with us regarding your experience?
Yeah, so I first discovered the self-mastered program, I think through your tweets on Twitter way back, and I kind of started trying to implement a couple of the advice that you had kind of put up, and I got some really promising results. So I kind of dug into it deeper, and one of the before I started the program, one of the things I was struggling with was, so I'm the founder of an early stage tech business, and we were in the process of trying to hire a team, raise our funding, increase our sales, all the usual problems. But as the founder of a really small team back then, we were just two people. It was really hard for me to understand where to devote my energies in. So, how much of my day should I focus on admin? How much of my day should I focus on fundraising, etc. And one of the first things that kind of helped me very tactically from the program was in being able to understand where my time was being spent. And when I, after the first week or so of looking back on the self-mastered execution tool, I was able to kind of see that a lot. But while I was working I mean, as long as I wanted to, like in number of hours, my effectiveness was maybe at 30 to 40%, which means almost half the time I was technically at work, I was doing stuff that really didn't need to be done or could have been outsourced for a fraction of what my time is worth. And that's when I started kind of seeing the changes or the benefits kind of add up. So because I was able to only focus on the one or two things per week that would move the needle, because I was able to kind of keep a track of where the progress was being made versus where the progress wasn't being made, it allowed me to adjust and I mean reflect and adjust and reprioritize what needed to be done. And within, I think, the first 3 months, I saw a huge change in my performance, and as a result in the outcome. So we were able to raise 300,000 pounds from some of the top investors in London. We hired three extremely talented people to our team. Our sales grew, I think, by 8x, but it could actually even be more.
It
So like all of these changes were, I was doing the same. I was doing the same work I was always doing, but it was just in a much more focused format than before.
This is amazing. So happy to hear this. It's an amazing evolution. Has it been the first time you've used a data-driven peak performance methodology? Like actually, not only we have video content and we have, of course, support calls, but we use tools and we use mental models based on actual data, on your data, and n equals one. And is it the first time you've used this kind of technology to adjust your performance?
Yeah, so I mean, even before self-mastered, I was doing a fair bit of journaling. I would review my days. I would set in place like my goals and tasks for the month ahead. But yeah, so this is definitely the first time where I was able to look at it, not like able to look at my performance not just from a bird's eye execution kind of view, but also being able to really go down into the, you know it's hard to explain without actually kind of showing the tool, to explain like how this works. But
Sure.
what's interesting is that it combines, it allows you to understand like when is the best time for you to be doing the best kind of work. So you're able to understand what patterns your body naturally works in. So whether you're really efficient in the morning or you're really efficient in the evening, what kind of work like actually gets done at what types of the day. And more than that, it's also about being able to tie in your simple things like your daily protocols. Like, do you exercise every day? Like I used to exercise pretty much every day, but I didn't really know what my cadence was. Was I doing it 5 days a week? Was I doing it 4 days a week? Was I doing it 2 days a week? By combining this all in one place, it allows me to see, all right, the best days or the most productive days of my week were also the days where I did my meditation and my exercise in the morning. Like that's a great signal, because then for the next week, I say, okay, do I want to make it easier for me to do good work? Just meditate and work out in the mornings, and then the rest will have a higher chance of falling into place.
Exactly. And so you're working on codependencies between your habits, and you have a proper system to actually illuminate that, because we are faulty memory creatures, humans, and it's very easy to forget, right? Especially when you're moving very fast at the helm of a startup. There's so many things racing towards you, and you need to be very good at prioritizing and maximizing your cognitive leverage, as we call it, in the middle of the storm, right? So, I mean, you're an absolute very, very good example of somebody working on high level problems, but actually liberating that extra 50% capacity that you were looking for.
Yeah. I mean, if I look back to the first couple of weeks with the self-mastered program, but also the tool, kind of realized that a lot of the work just didn't need to be done. And it hasn't been done going forward, and it's not made any difference I mean, in fact, it's probably helped the business succeed more.
Of course. I mean, you're edX, you're sales, you're hiring a team, and the problem you're trying to solve is not easy. It's hard, and which is what makes it meaningful, right? And in terms of our video library, right? Because now we're going to go to the community side, but the video library, how it's structured, we have 40 plus lessons. So how did that help you reframe the way you approach your work?
So I guess I'm generally someone who is very no, I wouldn't say cynical, but I'm definitely skeptical, right? Especially about terms that can be slightly esoteric in nature. So things like, motivation or purpose or peak performance, because peak performance is something that it translates into very, very different things for different people.
True.
So I've actually never been interested or keen on trying coaching programs in the past, only because I never really understood the gap or the research behind it. And something about the self-mastered program, by contrast, is that you do have these esoteric concepts all over the place, right? So you can have things like the mission you're working towards, or the difference you want to make in the world, all of that, which is great, but it's supported by a lot of research, and that research is explained in very simple terms into helping you understand kind of, the mission or the purpose is the tip of the iceberg. But there's a lot of research that has been compiled and explained in very common terms as to why this is something that should be worked towards. And another thing that also kind of helped me with the video content is that it's not a kind of take it or leave it type of thing, right? Like it's something that is meant to be questioned. Most of the courses, most of the videos are accompanied by some sort of a worksheet or a workbook, and that actually, it leaves enough space for me to think for myself, because the kinds of things I want to be peak performant in aren't the same as you or the other 8 billion people out there. Like, we all have our own motivations and our own ways of going about things. So, rather than saying, oh, you should be working out every single morning, it actually pushes you to discover, when should you be working out? What kind of workout should you be doing? And like, how does that then slot into your most productive day?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because as we say, self-awareness is the catalyst. It really uncovers that unused capacity and unleashes the possibility of having a peak performance life. But one of the problems with the industry is that people just provide content or provide a one-sided approach to it, when we're all different, as you just said. So it's n equals one. And just to a little bit discuss something that I'm really passionate about is the performance school. Not only we provide a video library, but we also have a school in which all of our members bring their own definition and solve each other's problems based on the different life situations and business challenges that they're all facing. So most of what we discuss applies to most people, but there's always something that it's deeply unique and personal that can leverage other people's experience to really get to that next level. So how's that community been? How do you find that upper echelon of the self-mastered experience?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm no stranger to communities and well, whether it's forums or Slack communities or any of these things in the past. Um, One of the things I've always been slightly one of the things I don't like about a lot of this is that there's often a lot of noise, right? There's often a lot of noise about people who are either trying to like pitch their own solutions to problems, or or actually not like contributing to the community. One of the things that at least I've found differently about the self-mastered performance school is it has a very small number of people right now, but they do seem look like extremely high performing people in whatever they're doing. So whether it's a job or a business or a law firm, like these are people who obviously value their time and their purpose extremely highly. So it's the quality of conversation is very different, because that these are people who are here not to build up some sort of imaginary internet cloud, but to actually give and get back from this community. And when again, this is something that I've seen happen with people in our situation, where some things might come extremely easily to you while others may not. So in my case, it might be, let's say I find it really hard to work on my sales letters, but some other people in the community find that really easy, but they might find something else really difficult which comes very naturally to me. So it's all about kind of exchanging like tips and hacks to understand like how each of us manage to kind of master or apply these systems without a lot of friction. So far my experience has been, yeah, great.
Amazing. So happy to hear that. Well, Saher, this is everything. Thank you very much for hopping in. We'll continue seeing each other in the Master Performance School and wish you all the best with your next evolution of Traction.
Thank you, Leon. Always good to be here.
Bye bye,
See
mate.
you and speak soon.